Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Technical Milestone. So this new video is going to be about two-factor authentication. So very easy. I'm going to show you how I made it using Docker, using Nginx image as a proxy, and how to create an image to build the website. So the website is going to be very simple. It's going to be just a login page with username and password, a button, login, and then under create user. Very simple. When you create a user, it's gonna be ask you for username, password. Then once you create a user, it's gonna show you a QR code. You're gonna have to scan the QR code with your Google or Microsoft Authenticator app or any other authenticating app available. And then it's gonna just show you a logging successful page. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you how I made this. So first, as you can see on the screen, I have a folder called 2FA demo. So we have a README file. I'm going to put everything in my GitHub repo, so you can recreate it on your own. Very easy, very simple. It's just one command to put everything and create everything. So the Docker, I'm going to show you what I wrote in the Docker compose. So very simple, I'm going to use Flask uh, and build the application using Python Flask. Uh, very simple, in this service, I'm going to create a volume. In this volume, I'm going to call it app data. It's going to be where we're going to store all the username, password, TOTP, encryption, and everything from every user. I'm going to use SQLite because it's very simple and easy and light. And then for the Nginx, it's going to be the very simple Nginx Alpine image. I'm going to open port 8080 for the browser, and it's going to be redirected to port 80 on the container. And because it's going to act not as a website but as a proxy, I changed and created a default config file that I'm going to show you later. And it depends on the Flask app. So the Flask app needs to be up and running so that this Nginx image can run. And then we have the volume app data. So I'm going to show you what's in the Nginx config file. So I just have one file, very easy, the default config. So very simple, it's going to be a server and it's going to be listening on port 80 on the container. Server name, I just put localhost because I'm using a virtual machine. This is a virtual machine, so to be able to access it from my host machine, I just put localhost, and then different commands so that the proxy works. So it needs to enable the Flask app on port 5000, sorry, so that it redirects all this traffic to this port on the Flask app and other proxy settings. Now I'm going to show you what I have in the app folder. So we have multiple files, Docker file, the main brain app.py, and then some requirements. What do we have in the requirements? Very easy, Flask version, pyotp. This is the module for the TOTP to work. QR code to create a QR code. Both pyotp and QR code work together to create the QR code and secure and encryption and everything. So just work together. We need them for this, for two-factor authentication. The Docker file is very simple too. So we're going to use Python 3.12 Slim, some basic commands, and copy all those requirements inside the application, and run some commands, copy everything, create the app data where we're going to store all the user data. And the data itself, the brain, the application, the web browser itself is composed of this. So there's very basic Python file. So at the beginning, we're just importing all the libraries we need. Because we're using SQLite, we just need those DB functions to access the database, create the user table and everything. This function is just to hash, secure, encode, encrypt the password from the users. And this function is just to get the users from the database. Then we have the function to create the QR code. Very simple. We're using the pyotp, TOTP, using the secrets, so encrypting everything. It's going to be rendering as a PNG, but return it as a base64 encoding on the web browser. And then we have the different routes. So the root route is just rendering to the logging page. I'm gonna show it to you. It's just here. So the logging page, that's the first page we're gonna enter once we create the application. So it's just very simple. It's a formula with username, password, logging, and that's all. And we also have a button, create a new user, because we need to create a new user once we log in. Like, we need to create the user before. So this is the register. That's the create user. Very simple. It's username, password. Once we click on the continue, the user is going to be shown a QR code to scan using the application, the Microsoft or Google Authentication app on his phone, to have a code and then use this code to after logging. This is the 2FA, two-factor authentication method. So you need the password and then the code that changes every 30 seconds, I think. On my application, it's every 30 seconds, so that you know the password, and then you have a code, unique code that changes. Then we have the setup. So this is the page. Once you create the user, it's gonna render the QR code, the logging. I just talked about it. The verify. So once you create a user and you logging back again, you're not gonna get the QR code. You're gonna get the page where you verify the code from the application. So this is what's gonna render. And then once everything is done, you have the correct password, correct username, correct code. You're gonna be rendered with the dashboard. The dashboard is very simple. It's just saying you logged in successfully. And there's a button to log out, and the logout button is just rendering back to the login page. Very simple, and the app is open on port 5000. And then in the template folder, very simple, we have all the different pages rendering. Base is the template that all the other pages use. Very simple, basic HTML pages and everything. So now I'm just gonna show you how to launch the app. So you need to be in the Docker, in the same folder as a Docker Compose file, so that it creates the application. So Docker Compose up -- build. So we're building, because we're creating an image, we need to build it first. So if we don't create an image like we did with the Docker file, we don't need the -- build. But because we have it, we need to put it. And I'm just gonna put the argument D as detached, so that the application, so that I can use my terminal after. So here is creating. It's gonna fetch all the images. Here first is gonna build the image using the Docker file, and it's gonna run all the different commands that are in the Docker file that I written using the requirement.txt and everything. And then it's going to create the image, so the 2FA demo Flask image that is used by the container 2FA Flask. So we have two containers. We can see them if we docker ps 29 seconds ago. They're up and running. The Nginx Alpine is open on port 8080. So perfect. We can do IPA, copy the IP of my VM, because this is a virtual machine. And then I'm going to go on Firefox, put the IP and port 8080. And here we go. We have the login page. Perfect. It's working. So as you can see, we have username, password, continue button, and not create user. So because we don't have any user now, because it's the first time we're launching it, I'm just going to click on create a new user. So very simple. We have a username and password. As you can see up there, we have the routes that I described earlier. So I'm going to create a user, Alice, Alice, and the password, I'm going to use Alice as well. Create account. And here we have the QR code. As you can see here, it's the setup to FA because it's a new user. So we're going to set it up. You have all the steps here written. So just go on your phone, open your Authenticator app. So I'm using Microsoft. So very simple. I'm scanning the QR code. Okay, perfect. Now, once it's scanned, I can click on this button, continue. And here I'm like asked to enter the code. So I just like go on my app and enter the code that I see on the screen. Very simple. And then click on verify. And if it's the correct code, if it didn't expire, because it expires every 30 seconds, like it depends on every device, but my application is every 30 seconds. So I have the correct code, correct username, correct password, everything's good. It tells me I'm in. And as you can see, this is the two factors. Something you know is your password, and something you have is your phone. Very easy, very simple. And we have a button to sign out. I'm just going to sign out. And because I have a user now, I'm just going to show you how it works with when we just log in. Press continue, and here, because I already have a user is created and I already scanned the QR code, I just have to enter the code I have on my phone, 228, and see the code is different from previously. Every 30 seconds it changes, so that's how it works. And here I am again, logged in. I'm gonna show it to you with when I create a new user again. I'm gonna call it Max. There's it, create, and here I have to scan the QR code again. So open my app again, scan, okay, scanned it, okay, and enter the code. 272129. And here the code is different every time. Oh, it's the incorrect. I need to enter it again. 71. Okay, my code expired, so I need to do it again. 30713. Okay, now it should be good. Okay, I'm in now. Perfect. It works. Same thing as usual, same thing as before. Everything. Sign out. And that's all. Basically, that's how the application works. I'm gonna put all the different files, folders on my GitHub repository for you to recreate this on your own. Very simple. So that's all for this new tutorial on two-factor authentication. Hopefully it was helpful, you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, everything, and I'll see you next time.